Hello everyone and welcome. So in this video, I'll be walking you through the process of creating a virtual environment or what you need to know about virtual environment. So what is a virtual environment basically? So yeah, I browsed it and the definition here is a virtual environment is a tool that helps keeps in dependencies required by different projects separate by creating isolated Python virtual environment for them. So in my own view, I would say a virtual environment is just like a container where you store all the packages you need for a specific project. So for example, if you have different projects on your computer, for you to keep track of the packages and the versions you use for that project, you need to create a virtual environment and store them there. So that's basically how it is. You can, for example, for Django developers, you can use Django 2.0 for a specific project, and also you can use Django 4.0 for another project, so far as you are using a virtual environment to keep track of them. So that's basically how a virtual environment works. Now, so how can we create a virtual environment in Python allows us to do that automatically. You don't need to install anything, so you just do it because it's inbuilt. Also, you can also for you to do it again, you can also install virtual env. That's virtual env Python. You can install virtual env. That's a Python package that you can use to do that, but I'll just advise you to use the one that Python provides automatically. So if you're on Ubuntu, you should just probably open your terminal, and also if you're on macOS, you do same. So I'm using my PowerShell here instead of my CMD, so it's actually the same process, just that for PowerShell you are going to be using a forward slash instead of backslash for command prompt. So for you to create a virtual environment, you need to, so I'll just do it in my project. So I'll just see the project first. That's where I want to store it. Let me just make a directory where I can store mkdir, where I can store my virtual environment. Mkdir testing. So mkdir testing. Yeah, so I've created it. CD testing and ls. So you can see it's an empty folder I created. So I want to create my virtual environment in this testing folder I created. So let me clear, and let me increase the font. Yeah, so you can see. So for you to create it, you need to just type in python -m venv, then the name of the virtual environment you want to create. So you can give it any name. So I usually just give it env. Yeah, so you wait for it to load. So it has created our virtual env, and yeah, so once you say ls now, you are going to find our env folder in that folder you created. That's in the directory you created. So how can we use the env folder there? So you just need to activate it. So you need to say env /, that's for those using PowerShell. But if you are using command prompt, you just use your backslash. So you use your backslash instead of forward slash. So for those using Linux and I think macOS to do the same, so it's actually forward slash instead of backslash. That's why I'm using the PowerShell for those who are using Linux and macOS. The forward slash scripts. So same thing for for Linux user, you just need to say bin instead of script, then /activate. So you're activating the virtual environment you created. So basically, if you're using a CMD instead of a PowerShell, you need to just use the backslash. Yeah, and everything is okay. So and press enter. Then you can see we now have this env file here quoted in green. So that's the virtual environment. So anything we then install into this directory here is going into the virtual environment. So let me quickly do something. So pip install Django. So I'll just use Django for example. Yeah. Yeah, so we have successfully installed Django. So how do we know if the Django is installed into the virtual environment? So for you to do that, let's quickly say something. So for you to know that all what has been installed in the virtual environment, you can just say pip freeze. So once you say pip freeze, yeah, you can see it has listed all what we installed in the virtual environment. So you can see all this comes built in with Django. Yeah. So all this comes built in with Django. So you can see once you say pip freeze, it lists all what is in the virtual environment. This is not basically in our main environment. So you can just say, let's see. Let me increase this, and you can just say pip list. So this is our general environment here. You can see it's different from the one in our virtual environment. So that's basically how to create a virtual environment and how to view all the packages in the virtual environment. So for those who would be working with teams, you can actually just say, you can actually store it into a requirement.txt file where people can view all what you have installed and then install it in their own system too. You can say pip freeze -r then requirements dot txt. Sorry, okay, yeah. So that instead of that, we need to just use the greater than sign here instead of -r. Sorry about that. Yeah. So once we say ls, you can see we now have a requirement.txt file there. So let me just say code. Let's open it and see what is in the requirement.txt file. Yeah, so our code editor is open and we can see the env folder here, and we can see the requirement.txt file we created. So once you open the requirement.txt file, you can see it's basically the same thing we did as the pip freeze. That's the same output we have gotten here. So for example, you push this code to GitHub and you want your teammates to install the exact same package you used for the project. All they just need to do is pip install, then they use the -r instead of greater than sign. Then they will now say requirements.txt. So that's basically how everything works. So once they do this, you are going to notice that, so actually they will need to create the virtual environment here before they can do this, so it will install directly into the virtual environment. So same process for everyone, and I hope you have learned from all what I've already done here. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to my channel.